Hey YouTube, this is Joey. Today I will be talking about what brands are good, what vehicles they have that are good, because there are some brands that are better at making cars than others. Some are better at producing trucks and SUVs more than others. Today I will be talking about GM. GM makes some good vehicles, even though they are discontinuing most of their cars from their brands, which kinda, in my opinion, sucks. Because right now I have a Malibu. The Malibu I'm in is nice to drive and all. It's economical, but it is more it's not comfortable on long road trips. Even going to the city, because I live about an hour away from the metropolitan area, it's not that comfortable. And GM makes good SUVs and all, but they still have their flaws. Like I don't know if there still are or not, if they're still putting the 4-cylinder engine into their Silverados. To me, there's no point in it unless you're in the city. Even then, I would rather have a V8 or a V6 than the inline 4 in a truck. Are V8s economical? Nowadays they are, because they have the technology to deactivate up to like 4 cylinders. Unless you're hauling something, then it'll still be an 8-cylinder. But to me, if you're hauling something for a long road trip, I would rather have a heavy-duty truck than like a F-150 or a Silverado 1500. Yes, I just said F-150 by accident. I'm a person. Get over it. Yeah, I wouldn't want a Silverado 1500 to haul something, even if it's a boat, because if you're hauling something for a long road trip, on long hauls, I wouldn't want that. I would rather have a diesel. Is it really worth it? Yes and no. But to me, you can get more out of a diesel than a gas. You can get more mileage out of a diesel than a gas. Yes, well, some areas in the country, gas is as much as diesel, so it doesn't really affect the price per se, at least in my opinion. They're now putting diesel in I think it's a V6 diesel in the Escalades and Yukons, and I don't know if Chevy's doing it in their Suburbans. But most of their big SUVs, they're putting diesels in, which is kind of cool. Are diesel parts more expensive? Yes. But do they last a lot longer? Yes. Some of their interiors, like the Silverados, they need to update the interiors to match the competitors like Ram and Ford, because they're a little on the past, if you know what I mean, on the interior features. Like Ford and Ram, they both put a 12-inch infotainment, well, 10-inch infotainment center where the gauge clusters are that I know of, and a 12-inch entertainment center. In their trucks. I'm surprised that Chevy hasn't brought out a SUV that's more off-road capable than what they have, like the Wrangler and the brand new Broncos. Chevy needs to step up to their game. Step up to their game, because they're falling way behind. They had the K5 Blazer back in the 80s and 90s, in early 2000s. But since then, they haven't put out a off-road capable SUV. Which I would like to see them make it. Even though they have a Blazer out, but it's not all of that. The Blazer that they have now is more of a road princess than anything. Chevy should have put the Blazer as an off-road vehicle than a road princess, to actually compete with their competitors instead of not having something that can compete. Are their trucks off-road capable? Yes, but their SUVs not so much. So yeah. Cadillac, they're a nice brand and all. Some of their vehicles are just a little too expensive for what they are. Like their Escalades, they start out at like $69,000, I think. That's for the base trim. Oh, bless me. Anyways, yeah, they're not. GM needs to step up the game. Yes, is their Yukon and Tahoe and stuff like that becoming Z71s in their Suburbans? Yes, that's not an off-road. That's not really an off-road SUV. To me, an off-road SUV is like what I said, the Bronco, which has, you can get up to 35 37-inch tires. The Wrangler you can get up to 33s from the factory. So yeah, to me, GM needs to bring something to the game of off-road, so that they can compete, because that would be interesting. All of these big car channels like Motor Trend, Throttle House, TFL, it would be interesting for them to put their SUVs, all the SUVs that are off-road capable, against each other. But GM needs to step up. Like I said, yes, is the do they have off-road capable SUVs? Yes, but to me they're not off-road capable like the competitors. The Suburbans and the Tahoes and the Yukons, they don't have the ground clearance as what off-roading needs. Off-roading needs to be, I think, like 12-inch, at least 12 inches of ground clearance from the front. The back, I would think about 10 for the departure angle and the approach angle. Approach angle first, then the departure, because those are the big two key things that people worry about, are those. When they had the K5 Blazer, everyone was competing. Every manufacturer was competing with each other. They need to update the Colorado design, at least in my opinion, because they haven't really changed the design, the outside design of their truck, or the Canyon. They should change it up a little bit, make it more appealing, than more futuristic than what they've done for the past like 5 years since they came out. Because Ford changes their designs like every 2 or 3 years, I think. The Dodge doesn't have a compact truck yet. I'm waiting for them to come back out with the Dakota. I hope they put a Hemi V8 in there with the manual. I'd rather have a manual truck than an automatic, but being in the city, automatics are better. Which I don't live in the city. I live in a little town. Yeah, there's a lot of things that the American automotive sector needs to do. Chevy should really bring back the Chevy SS sedan with their 415 horsepower V8, because that actually competed with the Chargers and stuff like that. Like they have the Camaro that competes with the Mustang and the Challenger. Even though Camaros had their flaws, I don't know if they still do or not, where if you step on the gas, sometimes their driveline snaps. Drive shaft just completely obliterates, just because they were not manufactured that well. Their 0 to 60 time, their acceleration times are not that great, at least in my opinion. Yes, did they make the Camaros the L1s? Yeah. But they only had 650 horsepower, which came from the Corvette-based engine, the Corvette Z06. They also put that Corvette engine in the Cadillac CT-SV, which was actually pretty cool. I like to see them put that a V8 in the new Blazers that they have, like the Trailblazer SS from the early 2000s, early to mid 2000s. Man, those were nice. They should have brought back the Pontiac brand. Like Ford should bring back the Mercury brand, because I do miss driving a Mercury Cougar that I used to have. Mine was a 96 cream colored Mercury Cougar with a 302, I do believe. Was it good on gas on the interstate? No. But it was fun to drive. Kind of scary going past the semis because they are so low to the ground. Lower than what my Malibu is. Because it's a coupe. It's a longer coupe than the Mustangs, which I didn't have a problem with. It was more like a Taurus coupe from back then. At least that's in my opinion. Yeah, there's quite a bit that I've discussed. GM needs to bring out a off-road beast like what Ford is about to do with the Ranger. They're going to have a Ranger Raptor that is going to be an awesome vehicle. GM needs to bring out something like that for a compact truck. It would be pretty cool. interior's nice? Yes. But, like I said, they need to update some of their interiors in their vehicles. They shouldn't discontinue their cars like the Malibu, because the Malibu is a nice car. I've seen more Malibus on the road than a lot of the other brands, at least where I'm at. They're reliable. They're a mid-sized sedan, which actually works for me to an extent. But GM really needs to go and update their quality in the interiors. Like these cloth seats that I have in my Malibu are not comfortable. They press on the pressure on my pressure points that I didn't even know I had. That's how bad it is. There's not really any soft cushion in these seats at all. To me, if they could have done like a vinyl seat, that would be more comfortable. But it is what it is, and they're discontinuing the Malibu and all the other sedans that GM had offered before. But all the European brands, they're not discontinuing their cars that I know of as of yet. Because all of the European manufacturers, most of their sales are of cars. Still. So I think America has lost touch in their car sector. Yeah. Right now I'm going to the city to venture around. Until next time, this is Joey.